Good evening to you all, and thank you for joining us here on Rwanda Television News tonight. We do hope you had yourselves a productive Tuesday. Now here's a sneak peek of our edition. Rwanda and China have agreed to strengthen cooperation between the members of the parliaments of the two countries. In a landmark development for Rwanda's mining sector, Rwanda has for the first time exported tungsten to the United States. On the international scale, White House says President Donald Trump supports renewal of African trade initiative due to expire. We are glad to have your company tonight, coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali, and my name is Martina Abera. Let us kick things off by reminding you that Rwanda and China have agreed to strengthen cooperation between the members of the parliaments of the two countries. This was among the key points discussed during a meeting between the President of the Senate, Dr. Kalinda Francois-Xavier, and the Chinese ambassador to Rwanda, Gao Wenki. It has been 54 years since Rwanda and China established relations based on mutual respect. Today, cooperation projects between the two countries focus on the development of health, education, agriculture, technology, and infrastructure. The Chinese ambassador to Rwanda, Gao Wenki, said that strengthening this partnership is one of the reasons for his visit to Rwanda's Senate.
Yeah, in the near future, we're working on more wide range of cooperations on, not only on construction, infrastructure, but also smart education and IT and AI and some other, exchange, more deep exchange on cutting edge technologies we could share. So our mission is here to learn and to share and to love. So that's my priority.
On the other hand, the President of the Senate, Dr. Kalinda Francois-Xavier, emphasized that this partnership should also extend to the members of the parliaments of both countries. Ambassador Gao Wenki arrived in Rwanda at the end of June and is the 16th ambassador to represent the People's Republic of China in the land of a thousand hills. In a landmark development for Rwanda's mining sector, Rwanda has for the first time exported tungsten to the United States. The shipment was facilitated by Trinity Metals, an American company operating mining activities in Rwanda. The consignment was received by GTP, a company based in Rwanda, Pennsylvania, which processes tungsten into materials used in industries, including electric wires and various metal components. Justin Uwiringiyimana, manager of Trinity Metals Nyakabingo branch, described the shipment as a significant milestone for Rwanda's mining industry. U.S. Ambassador to Rwanda Eric Needler called it a historic moment in the bilateral trade relations, noting that this is just the beginning of deeper economic cooperation between the two countries.
It's a historic day, there's no question about it. As you noted, this is the first time that tungsten that's sourced in Rwanda has come from Rwanda to the United States, to the American shores. So this is just the beginning of a pipeline of this critical mineral from Rwanda to the United States. And I think it's a great day for the partnership between the United States and Rwanda and the economic and commercial relationship. And this is the top priority of the U.S. Embassy in Rwanda, is to promote greater economic and commercial relations between the United States and Rwanda. We're doing a lot already in partnership, close partnership, with my counterpart in Washington, D.C., Ambassador Mathilde, and her fantastic team on the Rwandan side. Of course, we're working very closely with the American Chamber of Commerce. So there's a lot, I think, that we can continue to do to promote that economic and commercial relationship, and I look forward to doing that.
Moving ahead, Rwanda has taken another bold step in global sports marketing, becoming the first African tourism brand to partner with both the NBA and NFL. Through its Visit Rwanda campaign, Rwanda is now the official sponsor of the LA Clippers and LA Rams, a move aimed at boosting tourism visibility in the U.S. and strengthening the country's global brand. RBA's Adam Squizera had an exclusive interview with Sheja Valoui, the the Chief Strategy and Communications Officer at RDB, who reiterated the significance of this partnership.
Thank you for joining us right here on RTV. I'm Adam Squizera. Rwanda has once again made the headlines with Visit Rwanda becoming the official sponsor of LA Clippers in NBA and LA Rams in NFL. This marks the first time an African tourism brand is represented in both leagues. Today we want to dive deeper into what this partnership means for Rwanda, its tourism ambitions, and the broader impact on the country's global image. I'm with Sheja Valeli, the Chief of Strategy and Communications Officer here at RTB. You're very welcome.
Thank you for the interview.
Yeah. From English Premier League with Arsenal, PSG in League One, La Liga, Atletico, and even Bundesliga, Bayern Munich, and now we are talking about the NFL and NBA. What's the reason behind this expansion from those other leagues to NBA and NFL?
We have to think about what Visit Rwanda is and what are we aiming through Visit Rwanda. So as you mentioned, we started in 2018 with Arsenal, then we expanded to Paris Saint-Germain, and this season we signed a new contract with Atletico de Madrid, a new partnership. And all of these teams have as their own market, their own targets, and so we have like the different expectation for these different teams. So Premier League is like the most known league in the world, so seen and viewed by a lot of people around the world.
Yeah.
Paris Saint-Germain is like just like the best team in France, and the Atletico de Madrid can have give us access to Madrid, to Spain, but to Spanish-speaker market as well.
Yeah.
And this is actually what we achieved with these three partnerships in the past. And now with NBA and NFL, it's actually the same thing, but we can see that soccer, this is what they call it in US,
Yeah.
is not really followed by people there in US. So when you want to target this market and to reach the audience and having more visibility, you have to just like use the best channel. And the NBA with LA Clippers and NFL and LA Rams are definitely like the best way to reach the target that you are expecting now.
So someone may want to know like what are the key areas this partnership is going to focus specifically in those teams. We have LA Rams in NFL, we have LA Clippers. So far last night we even saw the photo shoot of some of their players already wearing Visit Rwanda brand on their jerseys. We want to know like what is the specific priorities in this partnership with these teams?
We also, and we always have two key axes in the partnership or sponsorship. The first one is obvious, is Visit Rwanda, is just like seen in the brand, Visit Rwanda, attracting people to come and visit and discover the beauty of this country and experience all of the landscape and every activity that we can offer to people. And the second one is the investment. And the investment is also like one of the key priority for us, because we have like that willing to have like more investment, to have like a growth for the next year, and having people who come in invest in Rwanda is also one of the achievements that you have to think about.
In the press release we saw last night, they reiterated the target of tourism revenue to 1 billion, but someone may want to know like what's the duration of this partnership?
So it's a 5-year partnership. So we are partner with LA Clippers, the NBA team, and we will be showcased on what they call the patch on the jersey, the Visit Rwanda patch. We will be showcased in the Intuit Dome stadium with LEDs and different assets. We're gonna have like a lounge to host our guests, and for LA Rams, we will be showcasing what they call the Infinity screen, which is maybe the biggest screen in the stadium in the world, plus other assets like LEDs, and we're gonna have like some specific space called Visit Rwanda as well, the Visit Rwanda Lounge, where we can host about 90 people per games. And this is mostly the asset that you have. We also have because we always think about the community.
Yeah.
We will have some coach and the training camp here in Rwanda, plus some coaches from Rwanda going to San Diego Clippers, which is the G League team of LA Clippers, to just like benefits from their knowledge and skills to help our talent to grow here in Rwanda as well.
Well, like before concluding, let's also focus on tourism and branding as part of this Rwanda partnership with all those teams. How does this align with the Rwanda's broader tourism and investment promotion strategy?
2018, we started the initiative of Visit Rwanda. Since then, we just like doubled the revenue of tourism. We have that target, as you say, to 1 billion in 2029. So it's totally aligned because we achieved that without having like a presence underground in US. And US is now actually the best markets in terms of visitors in Rwanda. So now we're going to have like a visibility directly lead to our main markets, which is obviously will help to grow the market and the revenue in the future.
Concluding with this one last question, which is we saw this deal and some people that around on social medias were wondering what's next after joining the English Premier League, League One, La Liga, Bundesliga, and now shifted to NBA and the NFL. Who is next?
So the question that you ask now is really interesting because that means that now we have expectation.
Yeah.
So we started from scratch without knowing exactly where we are going, even if we knew that it's the best way to attract ourselves. But now people in Rwanda are asking what's next. So the next step is obviously having a return on investments, having more people coming, having more investors in Rwanda, and then you will see. Let's be surprised.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adam Squizera, for that exclusive interview. As we move ahead, members of the Chamber of Deputies have begun examining a draft law aimed at punishing and preventing serious traffic offenses committed by road users. This draft law consists of 43 articles, including revised provisions and new ones, compared to the current road usage law enacted in 1987. Among the new articles is one that introduces additional penalties for 10 major traffic offenses considered more serious than others. These offenses could result in a driver being suspended from driving for up to 1 year. The Minister of Infrastructure, Dr. Jimmy Gasore, explained how this penalty will be applied if the article is passed in its current form.
Everyone will start the year with 15 points, and as you commit offenses, among the 10 major ones, your points will be reduced. Unfortunately, if you end up with no points before the year ends, you'll be temporarily prohibited from driving, or you will have to wait until the following year to regain the full 15 marks. This system will help us restrict habitual offenders from continuing to break traffic rules.
At the top of the list of these 10 major offenses that will lead to loss of points is fleeing the scene of an accident that one caused or was involved in, punishable by a deduction of 6 points, driving a vehicle without a speed governor when one is required, or tampering with it while on the road, each punishable by a deduction of 5 points, driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs, punishable by a deduction of 4 points, driving with a suspended license and exceeding the speed limit, each punishable by a deduction of 2 points, as well as using a mobile phone while driving in any manner. This points-based penalty will be in addition to fines and other existing punishments for traffic violations. Any driver who accumulates 15 points will be barred from driving any type of vehicle for 1 year. Some road users say that this draft law will help address various road safety issues, while others believe some provisions may initially be challenging to comply with. The Ministry of Infrastructure stated that it has already begun discussions with different institutions that will help road users comply with the law once it comes into effect. The Chief of Defense Staff of the Rwanda Defense Force, RDF, General M.K. Mubarak, today hosted a delegation of 27 faculty and student officers from the Zambia Defense Services Command and Staff College at RDF headquarters in Kimihurura. The delegation, led by Colonel Elias Zulu, is in Rwanda for a study tour from 28 September to 4th October 2025. The visit aims to get insight of Rwanda's transformation journey and its critical role in promoting peace and security in the region and beyond. The defense spokesperson, Brigadier General Ronald Rwivanga, briefed the delegation on the RDF's transformation and its contribution to continental security. In his remarks, General Mubarak expressed appreciation to the Zambia Defense Forces and the Zambia Defense Services Command and Staff College for selecting Rwanda as a destination for this important phase of professional military education. He stated that the visit reflects the strong and enduring bonds of friendship and military cooperation between the two countries, particularly in the area of capacity building. Rwanda today stands as a nation transformed, said General Mubarak. 30 years after the genocide against the Tutsi, we have moved from being a recipient of international peacekeeping support to a contributor to peace and security across the continent and beyond. Rwanda is now a peaceful, stable, and forward-looking country committed to long-term socio-economic development despite complex regional security challenges. Colonel Elias Zulu, head of delegation, expressed gratitude to the RDF for facilitating the visit. He noted that the delegation gained a deeper understanding of RDF's contribution to Rwanda's socio-economic transformation, which aligns with the objectives of their study tour. He highlighted the profound impact of visiting the Kigali Genocide Memorial, where the delegation gained valuable insights into Rwanda's history, the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, and the country's remarkable journey of recovery and resilience. As part of the tour, the delegation also visited the Campaign Against Genocide Museum and will continue their program with visits to various government institutions and defense agencies. The 6th Proximity Commanders meeting between the Rwanda Defense Force and the Uganda People's Defense Forces was today officially opened in Kabale City, Uganda, to discuss and address cross-border security challenges. The meeting was also attended by the defense attachés of both Rwanda and Uganda. Before the meeting, both delegations also visited the Kabale district offices, where local officials briefed them on district's development achievements. The Kabale local leaders expressed their appreciation for the proximity meetings and thanked both countries for their good leadership. In his opening remarks, Major General Paul Muhanguzi, commander of the UPDF 2 Division, welcomed the RDF delegation and emphasized the importance of partnership between RDF and UPDF in promoting peace and stability. He noted that the meeting provided a practical platform where commanders could engage frankly, address issues jointly, and agree on coordinated solutions. He further stressed the need to build on the strong foundation already established, including joint exercises that enhance interoperability and training programs that strengthen professional skills. Speaking on behalf of the RDF leadership, Brigadier General Justice Majambere, commander of the RDF 5 Division and head of the RDF delegation, highlighted the significance of shared commitment, open dialogue, mutual cooperation, and sustained engagement. He stated that these regular interactions reflect the maturity of the bilateral relationship and the determination of both forces to maintain peace and stability along the shared border. RDF and UPDF have both played historic and transformative roles in our respective countries. We continue to serve as the bedrock of peace, stability, and national development. Our forces have made meaningful contributions to the socio-economic process of our nations, as well as to regional and international peace efforts. We are grateful to both Chiefs of Defense Forces of the RDF and UPDF for their continued support in building this brotherhood aimed at addressing cross-border challenges, Brigadier General Majambere said. Moving ahead, the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources promised strong collaboration and good cooperation with farmers in order to achieve food security and further develop agriculture. This was reiterated in Kigali during the 6th Eastern African Farmers Congress that brought together farmers from East Africa. Enora Gladys reports.
Held in Kigali for discussions aimed at achieving more sustainable food and farming systems. Farmers from Rwanda appreciated the government's support in promoting them, but also highlighted challenges they still face, including access to capital and climate change. Cesari Kanharama is one of them.
Ntabwo twavuga ko Rwanda duhagaze nabi. Turi mu rugendo.
We cannot say that Rwanda is in a bad position because we are on a journey and development is continuous. But the most important thing is that we have all the resources needed to advance agriculture, especially since we have supportive leadership. The main challenge we face today is climate change, because it has serious impacts on farming. However, measures have been put in place, including irrigation, tree planting, and training farmers to conserve soil. These are all strategies designed to help us face this challenge.
The
President of the East African Farmers Federation, Elizabeth Simandala, stated that member countries have made significant progress in advancing agriculture, but this should not make them complacent. She also highlighted the key contribution of this federation to the development of agriculture in member states.
Focusing on transforming the agriculture sector to make it rewarding to the smallholder farmer. And our focus with our second strategic plan was around commercialization, entrepreneurship, and making sure that we put farmers at the center of controlling the entire value chain, making sure we remove middlemen across the entire value chain. The issue on climate change, it is the biggest elephant in the room, and it has no borders. And as farmers, we face the biggest blunt on climate change. So that is why the 5th Congress recommended that we focus on climate change. And we've done so much in terms of, first of all, understanding the process, understanding the global direction in terms of agriculture discussions. We've done so much in terms of mobilizing partnerships.
The Minister of Agriculture and Animal Resources, Dr. Mark Chiwahiro Bagabe, pledged continued collaboration with the Federation and noted that Rwanda has already made significant progress in advancing modern agriculture.
This Congress is an opportunity to turn principles into action and partnerships into measurable results for farmers. As I was moving around the exhibition stands, booth, I asked one farmer how much, in terms of productivity, he gets, or they get, on average, for maize. I think he didn't tell me the average, but he told me, I think, the potential of the variety. It was for maize, and he told me 3.5 metric tons. Okay, that's a variety issue. But you have got also some of the good varieties in the region, which, in the case of maize, which can reach up to 10, 11 metric tons per hectare. But when you look at productivity, actually in Rwanda, the average is 2 metric tons per hectare. That's the average. But that doesn't mean that we don't have farmers who are getting 10 metric tons per hectare. We have them. So the point I want to bring into focus is to work and bring those smallholder farmers to bridge that gap, to reach that productivity of the potential of the different varieties that we have around.
Over the past 20 years of its existence, this African Federation has shown tangible contributions to agriculture, including increasing the participation of women and youth in farming. More than 400,000 farmers have adopted technologies to apply, such as push-pull, aflatonics reducing, and others. About 11,000 young people were trained through African Youth Agripreneurs Platform, and the partnership of these African countries with the Federation has unlocked credit of over $6.5 million.
A review conducted by the Legal Aid Forum shows that Rwanda has achieved 99% implementation of the commitments it has accepted regarding the promotion and protection of human rights. We have more in this report.
This is a report prepared under the United Nations Human Rights Council's Universal Periodic Review Mechanism, through which every 4.5 years each member state is examined by other UN member states on what it needs to improve in order to better uphold human rights. After that period, the country's progress is reviewed to see whether those recommendations have been implemented. In 2021, Rwanda was given 284 recommendations to be implemented over 4.5 years, including reforms in policies, legislation, and other measures aimed at promoting and protecting human rights. After careful consideration, Rwanda committed to implement 160 recommendations, while the others were deemed either not feasible or inconsistent with the country's chosen development path. The steps taken were still in line with Rwanda's broader strategy to improve the well-being of its citizens, a point highlighted by Dr. Emmanuel Ugirasheuja, the Minister of Justice and Attorney General.
In the last cycle that we had, which was in 2021, there were around about 260 recommendations, and Rwanda accepted 160 recommendations, and most of them were about policy changes, the laws that should be changed in order to reflect the journey that Rwanda is taking in the human rights process. So by and large, I would say that yes, we find it a useful process, and normally it's feedback from other countries. Well, there are a lot of achievements from the last cycle, as you saw in the presentation, in the education sector, in the health sector, in the gender sector itself. There are many, I would say, achievements that have taken place in the last 4 years from the time that we were last reviewed.
According to the Legal Aid Forum, which assessed the implementation of the 160 recommendations Rwanda committed to in 2021, the country has achieved 99% compliance. Since the adoption of these recommendations, the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights has worked alongside Rwanda to support their implementation. Michael Ngabirano, the Senior Human Rights Advisor, expressed confidence in Rwanda's commitment, citing the significant progress already achieved.
For this UPR process, it's been a process we've been working on since 2021, since the recommendations were made, and we've been working with all the stakeholders, certainly through the Ministry of Justice, who is the agency of government responsible for this, but also as the United Nations, we have a role that we play in implementing recommendations. When recommendations come, they are not only to the government or civil society, they are also to the UN. We have a role we play to support, to sometimes fund, but also to advise, because this is some areas are technical, and that's what we do at the United Nations. And so the journey 2021 to now has been a very fruitful one, very inclusive, government, civil society, private sector, the development partners who have been helping us to support this. And it's really, I'm impressed with the work that the government has done since they received the 2021 recommendations. And now that, as you will see from the report, the achievements have been tremendous, legal, policy, and other frameworks. And it has been a partnership. Civil society, private sector have played a role. The National Human Rights Commission, stronger than it was the 2021.
Various stakeholders, including civil society, human rights organizations, and other partners, noted Rwanda's progress in improving the protection and promotion of citizens' rights. Among the highlights was a decline in poverty levels from 38.9% in 2017 to 27.4% in 2024, and a reduction in extreme poverty from 11.3% in 2017 to 5.4% in 2024. Rwanda also created more than 900,000 jobs in the past 3 years, while access to public service has improved significantly, with over 89% of citizens expressing satisfaction. Rwanda will officially present these achievements to the UN Human Rights Council member states on January 21st, 2026, during the next UPR review session in Geneva, Switzerland.
Experts in internet operations from the countries that are members of the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, located in Eastern Africa and near the Indian Ocean, are meeting to discuss what can be done to ensure that residents of these countries have access to fast and affordable internet. As part of these efforts, the Enhancement of Governance and Enabling Environment in the ICT Sector program is reviewing and validating proposed amendments to the draft policy and regulations on universal access to ICTs, aiming to create a more inclusive and enabling environment for ICT access across the region. Bernard Zawanda, Director of Infrastructure and Logistics at COMESA, says that Rwanda is performing well in terms of investing in internet infrastructure and expanding its coverage.
There are huge gaps in terms of the accessibility in our region. So we are saying let's mitigate this gap by trying to help our member states to accelerate the pace at which they try to resolve the challenge. And we believe that if we move as a region, we can learn from each other, we can get best practices, and we can probably reach those underprivileged or marginalized communities faster than what we would have done maybe as individual countries. I know Rwanda has done very well in this area, and we expect them to share their experiences with other member states. We'll give them a slot to present where they can tell us about what they are doing in terms of having gadgets to the underprivileged and maybe schools, whatever. Each country will go and now customize or domesticate in its own country depending on its national unique features. But this is just a guide to say we agree at regional level that when we do these activities, we will do them this way with the common objective of improving access, inclusivity. The access should be in terms of the gadgets itself, in terms of the outreach. You have got those underprivileged or marginalized communities. We want to find a way of accommodating them, bringing them on board. The women and the youth, they must also participate in this digital transformation.
Marks the end of our stories on the local scene. We will convene shortly after this break as we dive into the international scale.
Every journey has a beginning. From nature comes refreshing fruity goodness that keeps you going every day. With every pack complementing life's best moments. Not one, not two, but 5 different fruity flavors. And this journey keeps giving. Introducing Inyanji's new fruity juice flavors, guava and cocktail. Now available at your nearest shop. Always ask for Inyanji.
Nyiri muto arababwiraga data bati ntabwo wagira umukamo mwinshi utunze inka imwe, ariko nigeze acika intege. Mama akinjira mu bucuruzi hari abamubwiraga bati ntabwo watera imbere udakorera mu iduka rigezweho, ariko ntibyamusubije inyuma, yakoranaga umwete. Njya muri kaminuza hari abanshidikanyagaho bavuga ko nashobora kaminuza naturuka mu muryango wifashisha, ariko byaragiye nanditse amateka mashya. Igihe cyo gutera ishema umuryango wanjye kigeze, bamwe bakomeje kumbwira bati ntabwo watera umuryango wawe ibyishimo n'ishema, ariko narabishoboye. Hari abakekaga ko nasigira umurage ukomeye abankomokaho, ariko ubu mfite uruganda rutunganya amata. Banki ya Kigali yabaye umufatanyabikorwa wanjye mu rugendo rwose, inzozi zanjye ziba impamo. Bigereho.
Welcome back to stories making headlines on the international scene. Now, the White House says President Donald Trump supports renewal of African trade initiative due to expire. African businesses are on tenterhooks as they wait to see if the African Growth and Opportunity Act, a trade initiative aimed at sub-Saharan Africa, will be renewed before it expires on Tuesday. The White House says President Trump supports it, but the clock is ticking. African News with the details.
Shuttered and silent, this textile factory in Lesotho was forced to close this summer after newly imposed US tariffs saw exports dry up. Now thousands of other businesses in Africa say they're also at risk as they wait to hear the fate of the African Growth and Opportunity Act. First passed in 2020, AGOA provides duty-free access to the US market to 32 countries in sub-Saharan Africa. But it's due to expire on Tuesday, with no extension yet agreed. White House officials say President Trump supports a one-year renewal of the law, but the clock is ticking and a lot hangs in the balance. Without AGOA, Africa's edge in the export market will erode, putting hundreds of thousands of jobs at risk. Advocates say it will also be bad for US companies, restricting choices and raising prices on imported raw materials. The law's only realistic path for renewal is to be attached to a stopgap funding bill Republicans are pushing to keep the US government open beyond Tuesday. For many African businesses, their ability to stay open is also at stake.
And that African news story marks the end of our bulletin. Before we close off, let's have a recap of our headlines. Rwanda and China have agreed to strengthen cooperation between the members of the parliaments of the two countries. In a landmark development for Rwanda's mining sector, Rwanda has for the first time exported tungsten to the United States. On the international scale, the White House says President Donald Trump supports renewal of African trade initiative due to expire. And on that note, we have come to the end of tonight's English News Bulletin. On behalf of the news production team, as well as the technical team, thank you for sticking with us. My name is Martina Avera, and until next time, stay safe and have a good night.